Neil Patel just told his audience that rankings are dead and you need 10 years to build brand authority. Now tell that to the plumber getting 70% of his calls from the map pack. Now look, Neil's not wrong about everything here. AI is changing search. That's definitely real. But he is giving Fortune 500 advice to people running service trucks. And he never once mentions the local pack, your Google business profile, or how Google actually decides which local businesses to show. He's talking about the citation economy and omni-channel authority. Meanwhile, my clients are getting map pack results in weeks, not decades. He completely ignores the thing that actually drives revenue for local businesses, your entity. And if you don't know what that means yet, don't worry. It is not complicated. It's just Google understanding that you are a real business offering real services in a real location. That's it. And it's the one thing Neil never brings up. Now I'm going to go through this, pause where he gets it wrong for local, and show you what actually matters. Let's go.
I analyzed Google's AI mode strategy, and here's what you must do now. Rankings don't matter anymore. Traffic is dying, and everything you learned about SEO, that's no longer enough. I spent the last 25 years helping companies drive billions in revenue through search. I've seen Google kill entire industries with algorithm updates. But this shift, this is different. Google's AI mode.
Yeah, he's not wrong. This is different. This is, I've talked before about how Google has updated features in the search engine results page to keep people on the page. They've featured their own results like YouTube to keep people inside Google's own attention economy space. But yeah, AI mode is different.
This is different. Google's AI mode just flipped the entire playbook from traffic to trust. And most marketers are still playing the old game where their competitors figure out the new one. So here's exactly what changed, why it matters, and what you need to do about it right now. Chapter 1, the citation economy. Stop optimizing for traffic. Start optimizing to get cited, because Google's not in the traffic business anymore. They're in the answer business.
Here it's pretty clear that Neil is talking about national or enterprise level SEO here. The local SEO business has frankly been about citations for the better part of 10 years. The Core 30 thesis, the way my agency builds content for local businesses, is that your GBP categories and your GBP services are in fact the framework for building out your citations. You're aligning your site structure to exactly what Google already sees for your business based on your Google business profile structure. This essentially means that people who are doing local SEO following the Core 30 methodology were optimizing for AI before AI even existed.
And here's what most people don't understand about Google's AI mode. When someone searches now, Google doesn't just try to show them 10 blue links anymore. They show them an AI-generated answer right there at the top.
Hopefully most people understand that this is how it works now.
At the top, with sources cited underneath. And here's the brutal part. If you're not one of those cited sources, you're invisible. Think about what that actually means. Traditional SEO was about ranking #1 to get clicks. The new game, it's about being credible enough that AI mode references you when it synthesizes the answer. You're not competing for position anymore. You're competing for attribution.
This is absolutely correct. And I recently recorded a YouTube video that talks about how Google has introduced a 4th ranking factor, which really is attributes. This is becoming incredibly important for both AI mode and for the Ask Maps feature that is AI mode on top of local SEO. You're absolutely correct here that being ranked #1 is less meaningful now than it was even a few months ago.
And attribution requires something completely different than what got you ranked in the past. It requires recognized authority. Brand mentions from trusted publishers, structured data that AI can parse, a digital footprint that signals this source knows what they're talking about. The data backs this up.
I mean, this is accurate, but I feel like it's being framed here as a larger change than it actually is. Google's own rankings used a lot of these same signals and still do. In fact, Google has spent the better part of the last 25 years trying to figure out how to trust websites based only on what is available about them online. And what Google found works the best is links from other websites that have a lot of links to them. So AI is using mentions instead of links, but it's fundamentally a very similar system to determine whether a website or business is real and trusted.
This up. 72% of people now want exact answers, not links. 76% want conversational search experiences. They're not browsing anymore. They're asking questions and expecting AI to synthesize the answer. So here's what you need to understand. The brands that win aren't the ones with the best SEO. They're the ones with the most recognized expertise. Because AI mode doesn't just scrape content, it weighs credibility. But if you're creating content just to rank.
I mean, again, Google has been doing this for years. If we look at some of the more competitive spaces in Google, especially like your money, your life type spaces, we already know that Google was looking at the author and comparing that to what that author was actually writing on other social media profiles. We know that having an accurate social media profile that we link to from the GBP will improve the GBP ranking. This is not new. It's just that AI is trying to do what Google has been doing for years.
You're creating content that won't get seen. The new strategy is building authority that AI systems recognize and cite. Chapter 2, the complexity moat. Simple questions get answered by AI directly. Complex questions still need sources, and that's where the entire game is moving. Let me show you something that reveals where the opportunity actually is. This chart is everything. Look at those numbers. Short queries, 0 to 3 words, trigger AI overviews 23% of the time. Medium queries, 3 to 5 words, trigger them 48%. But long complex queries, 6 words or more, 77%. You know what that tells you? Complexity is the moat. When someone searches best CRM, AI mode just tells them no citations needed. But when someone searches best CRM for enterprise SaaS companies managing remote sales teams across 3 continents, AI mode has to cite sources.
So Neil here is talking about stop chasing broad keywords and really build depth around nuanced problems. This is exactly what we talk about when we look at the core 30 structure for building a website for a local business, right? We want to build out specific service pages, one for every service, one for every category on your GBP. Beyond just that, one key aspect that we do is we monitor the Google Search Console and we look for attributes on search queries that maybe were ranked on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th page for. Those attributes are a good suggestion, an indication of phrases, of adjectives that we should be making sure appears in our content. An excellent example of this, we have a plumbing client and he replaces main drain lines, a main drain line replacement, a major service, a high dollar service. Plumbers love doing this service. So we saw in the Google Search Console that he wasn't ranking very well when people searched for lead main drain line replacement. We looked at the content, we'd never used the word lead. So we went back, we added the word lead in a few key places on his main drain line replacement page, and suddenly we have the AI, Google's AI, ChatGPT, and ranking all improve for the specific search of lead main drain line replacement. Beyond just GSC data, we also look at people also ask questions, we look at Reddit forums, we look to find out what are people actually asking about for this service in this specific location, and then make sure that we produce content that addresses those. Okay, this is not a blog strategy. This is not a blog framework where we write a daily or weekly or monthly blog about meaningless topics like 5 best ways to winterize your water heaters. Okay, that doesn't work. What we're talking about is building local relevance toward the actual searches that real people are typing into Google, typing into Ask Maps in the actual location that your business is located in. Okay, so very similar to what Neil is talking about here, but just a little bit different for local SEO and something that we've been doing for years.
Because that's nuance, that requires context, that requires expertise. And this is a shift most businesses are missing. The value isn't answering simple questions anymore. It's owning the complex multi-layered topics that AI can't fully synthesize without expert sources. And here's what that means for your content strategy. Stop trying to rank for broad keywords. Start building comprehensive resources around specific, nuanced problems. The kind of content that requires depth, real-world experience, and proprietary insight. Because that's what AI mode cites.
Now, of course, for local businesses, we also still want to rank for the broad keywords, but this is an excellent strategy to go on top of that, something that we've been doing for years. This is really a byproduct of how we build websites for local SEO, not the core strategy.
Sites, not generic blog posts, not shallow listicles, deep authoritative content that demonstrates genuine expertise. The opportunity right now is massive because most businesses are still chasing high volume, simple keywords, while smart ones are building moats around complexity. Chapter 3, the zero-click reality. Google is willing to kill 40% of website traffic to avoid becoming irrelevant, and they're doing it on purpose. Clicks are dying, and if you're measuring success by traffic, you're measuring the wrong thing. Let me show you the data that should terrify every content marketer. Before AI mode rolled out more broadly, 57% of searches were already zero-click. After the rollout, 59%. That doesn't sound like much, but here's what that actually means. Google is gaining 1 to 2% points in zero-click searches every single year. And according to industry forecasts, they're going to drive more to websites each year, but they're doing it by growing total search volume, not by maintaining click-through rates. Translation, the pie is getting bigger, but your slice is getting smaller. Why is Google doing this? Because they watched ChatGPT explode. They saw people stop Googling things and start asking AI instead. And they realize that if they don't become the answer destination.
So this is a bit of an oversimplification. We have seen repeatedly, even after ChatGPT's introduction, that Google's search volume is still growing. So people are still Googling, and in fact, they're using Google search more than they did before ChatGPT came out. The difference is that what seems to be happening is people are going to ChatGPT or their AI of choice, searching for something there, and then going to Google and repeating the search. So the real goal, the real trick, is to be featured both in Google's AI overview, rank on Google, and to be recommended by ChatGPT and these other sources. Don't buy too much into this hype that everything is jumping over to ChatGPT. Google's search volume is still growing.
Someone else will. So they made a calculated decision. Kill some traffic now to avoid getting disrupted later. And here's the part most marketers don't want to accept. This isn't reversing. Google's not going back to 10 blue links. They're going all in on AI mode because their entire business depends on it.
Yeah, this is absolutely correct. And we're seeing the AI roll out in more and more different areas. We saw in mid-March Ask Maps come out, which is AI integrated in local search. It is not going away unless something truly dramatic happens with AI. But for the most part, what we have now is the AI integration, and it's only going to grow.
Which means your strategy can't depend on clicks anymore. It has to depend on something else. And what's that something else? It's trust. It's authority. It's being the source AI mode references when people search for topics in your domain. You can't stop the zero-click trend, but you can position yourself to win in a world where citations matter more than clicks. Chapter 4. The authority tax. Traditional SEO is not just table stakes. The real game is building brand authority that AI systems recognize. Everything that used to get you to number 1, that's just baseline now. And here's your truth about the new SEO game. All those tactics that used to work, keyword optimization, backlinks, technical SEO, structured data, they still matter, but now they're just the price of entry. Because AI mode just doesn't look at your on-page SEO. It looks at your brand, and brand takes time. Look at this data. It takes 10 years to build a recognizable brand within.
I mean, this is how long it takes to build a brand in your industry that people will recognize. You can build a brand much, much faster for AI recognition. Okay, don't let this scare you. You don't need 10 years to build brand recognition for a local service business.
Your industry. 10 years of consistent marketing to get 18% brand awareness. Most people...
Like, this is why Warren Buffett loves Coca-Cola, because Coca-Cola has spent, I don't know, $100 billion, maybe more, building brand awareness over the past century. And that is a moat that is incredibly, incredibly difficult to overcome. Well, a local service business does not need Coca-Cola levels of brand awareness.
Want a growth hack. They want a shortcut, a tactic that works in 30 days. But AI mode is exposing a hard reality. Authority can't be gamed. It has to be built. And here's why that matters right now. The businesses who started building authority 3, 5, 10 years ago, they're about to win big because AI mode favors established sources, publications with track records, brands that have been cited before. And if you want a company to help you with your citations and get out there more, check out my ad agency. And
right, so local service businesses do not need like this level of Neil Patel brand awareness, okay? What they need is for AI systems to understand what the business does, where the business does it, and that their website is the most complete authoritative resource on those specific services in that specific area, right? A Tampa plumber is only competing with other plumbers in Tampa, not competing with all plumbers everywhere. This is why it's quite different for local service businesses. And when we focus on something like the Core 30 system, that dramatically compresses the authority timeline because we're building out so much topical and geographical relevance for those AI systems to chew on, to comprehend, brand and to understand that this business is a local authority.
NP Digital, where we do this for hundreds of companies all around the world. And if you haven't started building that authority yet, you're already behind. But the good news, most of your competitors haven't either. So here's what to do. Start posting consistently on platforms where your buyers live. Get mentioned in publications that AI trusts. Build schema markups so AI can parse your expertise. Create content that demonstrates depth, not coverage.
I mean, this is all true, right? We talk about this all the time with our clients in our training material. Start posting on platforms where buyers live. Absolutely. I mentioned before, link your Google business profile with social media platforms and then be active on those platforms. It will help your GBP rank. We've seen it. Be active on Reddit. That helps you rank. That helps you get recommended by AI systems. Getting mentioned in publications that AI trust. Absolutely. For a local service business, this means joining your chamber of commerce, supporting your local community, getting your newspaper to write an article about you, finding other local publications to write stories about you. So if you're in Dallas, get mentioned in publications that focus on Dallas. This is not incredibly difficult to do. Most of these local publications will happily feature local businesses, even as a sponsored post, which is perfectly acceptable for the AI systems. Schema markup, 100%. We do schema markup on every single page that we build, and I've already talked extensively about creating content. So yes, I agree with this. It's not as complicated as he's making it sound.
This is the authority tax. You can't skip it. You can't hack it. You have to pay it consistently over years.
I mean, you absolutely can hack this. I just talked about how fairly quick and easy a lot of that is to do for local service businesses.
The businesses who accept that reality today will dominate search 5 years from now. Chapter 5. The search everywhere shift. Google's not the only place people search anymore. And if you're only optimizing for Google, you're invisible everywhere else. Here's what most marketers are missing about AI search. Google still dominates with 13.7 billion daily searches, but look at the rest of the list. Instagram, 6.5 billion. Amazon, 3.5 billion. TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, all processing billions of searches each and every single day. People aren't just Googling anymore. They're searching everywhere. Even the Apple App Store gets 500 million daily searches. This is why we acquired Yodel, a mobile app marketing company, just because of the popularity of the Google Play and Apple App Store. And each platform has its own version of AI-powered discovery, which means your content strategy can't just be rank on Google. It has to be discoverable everywhere your buyers are looking. And here's your strategic shift. AI mode on Google, AI recommendations on TikTok, AI-powered feeds on LinkedIn, they're all rewarding the same thing: authority, consistency, depth. So the brands that win aren't playing platform-specific games anymore. They're building omni-channel authority that works across every AI system. That means showing up consistently, creating content in multiple formats, getting mentioned across platforms, building a brand.
So he's right, but let's talk about how this applies to a local business. For a local business, your omni-channel hub is your Google business profile. That's true for every platform. Okay, you're going to link your GBP to all of these social platforms. The AI systems, especially Google's own, are going to heavily rely on your GBP to figure out who you are, what your business is, where your business is located, and what your business does. And that GBP, it's feeding voice search, it's feeding AI overviews. And when you build your Core 30 correctly, you're not just optimizing for Google search. You're optimizing for every single entity graph that powers every single Google surface. Now, local businesses don't really need to be on Instagram and TikTok to win. They need their entity to be so locked in that Google's AI surfaces them regardless of how that query comes in.
A brand that AI recognizes no matter where someone is searching, because the future of search isn't one destination, it's everywhere. And the businesses who understand that today will own visibility tomorrow. The rules just change. Traditional SEO is dead. The new game is authority, and most businesses don't even know they're playing it yet.
So Neil's right that AI is absolutely changing the game. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that search looks the same as it did 2 years ago, or even honestly 2 months ago. But this idea that rankings are dead, that you need a decade of brand building, that the whole strategy is now be everywhere, that's enterprise thinking. For local service businesses, your Google's business profile is the center of gravity. Your entity, your categories, your service services, your service area. That's what puts you in the map pack. That's what makes the phone ring. And we've seen it happen in 14 days, not 10 years. If you want to see how we actually use AI to build content that reinforces your entity, real services, real service areas, no auto blogging, no spray and pray, go watch this video right here. I'll walk you through the whole system. I'll see you there.